Hey YouTube, it's Grace, and today I just wanted to film a short video to show you guys all of the different supplies that I use for jewelry making. If this is the first video of mine that you're ever seeing, then you probably won't know this, but I do a lot of like Minecraft themed art. So I'll do like the pixel art. I've also started doing like end poem phrases. And I've gotten a lot of questions from people asking what I use and where I get my supplies, so I figured that I may as well just condense everything into one video. I'm gonna start with the pixel art jewelry, if this will focus. There we go. So we're starting with these. The main material that I use to make the design is called shrink plastic, shrinky dinks, that sort of stuff. You can get it on Amazon. I don't have like the original packaging, but it comes with a whole bunch of different sheets in here, and they start off like really papery. And then when you bake them in the oven at 325 degrees Fahrenheit, then they turn into this plastic that you can't really bend anymore, and it shrinks, so it's really cool. I love this stuff. The grid that I use for this is something that I made. I have a few different sizes depending on how big I want the charms to be, and I've had a lot of people ask me, oh, well, why don't you just use graph paper? And that's because the pixels are too big and the charms would end up just being awkward. I just don't like the size if I did that. But this is the one that I've been using for a long time now. It is super small. I don't remember exactly the size of each pixel, but I really like the size of the charms for this. And the way that I made the grid is I just took paper and then took a ruler and made a whole bunch of little lines and then just connected them and then laminated it with packing tape. I think pretty much all of the colored pencils I use are from Prismacolor. I have a whole bunch of these different ones. They are super disorganized right now, but I just have everything shoved in one drawer. And I really like these just because they're high quality, although they are a little bit expensive, but they're not too bad. And on all of the earrings and necklace charms that I make, they have a really thin black line around them, and for that I just use a fine tip Sharpie or sometimes an art pen. It kind of just depends on what I have, but lately I've been using Sharpies. Now if you've ever used Shrinky Dinks before, you'll see like on the instructions it's like, oh, bake it for this amount of time. Honestly, I never follow that rule. I just eyeball it because a lot of the times it varies a lot depending on how big the design is or how long it's been since I preheated the oven, and sometimes it takes longer, so I just kind of watch and turn the oven light on to see when they're done. After they've been baking for a couple minutes-ish, I take them out of the oven, and then after they're cool, I coat them in a thin layer of Mod Podge, and that just keeps the colored pencil from rubbing off over time or keeps the design from fading at all. And it also gives sort of like a little bit of a shiny finish to my pieces, which I also really like. For necklaces, I just get this like metal chain from any craft store. I'm sure you could also get this online. And then I use lobster clasps to close the necklaces because I like these the best compared to any other ones that I've used. And then I have a bunch of different sizes of jump rings, which I will use to like connect the chains and also connect the charms to the chains. And then if I'm going to turn the charms into earrings, I will use these. I think they're called ear wire hooks, but I am not 100% sure. I don't actually have my ears pierced. These are just clip-ons. So that's pretty much the gist of it, but sometimes I like to spice up the actual chain itself, and so I'll add like these little beads and crystals, which I think they look really cool. And I got the crystals that I use, I think I got these on Etsy, and these are called seed beads, and you can get them online or at any craft store, I'm pretty sure. I like these a lot too, and I have so many of them in my drawer. If I want to use seed beads though, I can't use the regular chain. Instead, I have to use this beading wire, which was an experience to learn how to use because I also learned that I need these little crimp thingies and then crimp covers, and there's just so many things that I needed that I didn't think I would need when I was just looking for fun crafts to try. And the last thing that I think I need to cover in this video is the metal stamping jewelry stuff that I like to make, and I think that I get the majority of my supplies from Impress Art. There's two main shapes of the stamping blanks that I use. One is a circle and one is more of like a dog tag, and this one's smaller, so I tend to do the shorter phrases on it, but I can fit more characters on these, so I will do the longer phrases on those. And also from Impress Art, I have the little hammer thingy, and I have this stamping block thingy. I honestly don't know what this is called, but you put the blank on there and then stamp it on here instead of your table, and then it doesn't damage your table. And then I have this pen that I can use to sort of fill in all the letters after I stamp them, and then you can read them way easier. And the actual stamps themselves, I think you can get them from Impress Art. I got mine from Amazon because they were a little bit cheaper, but yeah. But I think that about covers everything for all the art supplies that I use for my jewelry and like the jewelry that I list on Etsy. So if you were curious about that before, now you know. And now that you know what I'm using, if you wanted to try this out for yourself, you sort of have like a guideline to go off of. Or if you don't want to try it for yourself and you just want some of my art, my Etsy is linked down below, so you should check it out. But that concludes this video, so thank you so much for watching, and I will hopefully see you in my next one. Bye!